online, Clara?
No, we don't have
No.
anyone.
Anyone else would like to make a public comment? Public comment, we'll close the public comment period. And we have a volunteer interview um, with Paula Zolman. Paula, are you there?
I see her on there.
Anybody there? See Heidi.
I see she's on the far right there.
Heidi.
Is she mute? Is Paula muted? I see her.
Paula?
I'm gonna check in a second. I mute her.
She's there.
Paula, can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Hello?
There we go.
Paula, good. Good morning, Paula.
Yes.
Glad you
morning.
could join us this way.
Thank you.
We are having, of course, our interview with you. It's very casual. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, which, of course, we all know you very well, and what you are applying to be on the Extension Committee. And then after your interview at the end of our meeting, we will take a vote on volunteer positions and get in touch with you.
Wonderful. So would you like me to do that now?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been in Rochester most of my life, went away for a little while to go to school, came back, raised a family here, was employed at Mayo Clinic for 41 years as an education specialist in the laboratory, which entailed me basically training and educating fellows and residents at Mayo Clinic. I've been a master gardener for 15 years, and hence is the reason I am applying to be on the community, the Extension Committee board.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rochester has a lot of incredible outreach programs, but I can see there are some holes. I'm hoping to help with maybe filling some of those holes with outreach and maybe some, input from the board on what we all think is the direction we need to go. I guess and I didn't mention I was a previous 4-H student for many years, still involved with Oxbow quite a bit. Just think it's very important to give back to your community. So that's my biggest reason for wanting to be on the board.
Any questions or comments for Solomon?
Very nice background.
Yes.
Thank you, Paula.
Wonderful
You're welcome.
addition to that. Thank you for applying, and we will get back with you.
Wonderful. So I can just disconnect. Is that all right?
Well, don't you want to watch this fascinating meeting?
I didn't know when the voting would take place, and I didn't know if that was confidential and
No,
all
it's
that.
not.
So.
No.
This
Okay.
This is the most fun you can have.
Yeah. Okay.
Except for being a master gardener. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Ullman. Okay.
You're welcome.
So we have no other volunteer interviews this morning, so I will call to the January 4th, 2022 Olmsted County Board of Commissioners meeting to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so at this point in the meeting, I will open the meeting to nominations for the chair for the 2022 Board of Commissioners.
I nominate Mark Tynes as chairperson.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations?
Nobody else, huh?
All right, nobody. So I will close the nominations and we will take a vote. All those in favor of Commissioner Mark Tyne being the chair of the 2022 Olmsted County Board of Commissioners indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, Mark. All right. So I will now turn. Here's the,
First act is I'll entertain a nomination for vice chair.
I nominate Greg Wright.
Okay, any nominations? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Congratulations. All right,
Well, that's a tough one to get through.
that was. All right, so it's my turn to talk, so bear with me. I'll stumble through this. I was born in Olmsted County, went to school in Olmsted County, got married in Olmsted County, raised 3 kids in Olmsted County, and now I am appointed the chair of the Olmsted County Board of Commissioners, which must come as a shock to many of my former classmates and teachers. During my life, Olmsted County's population has increased from 74,818 to 162,163, an increase of 117%. By comparison, the state of Minnesota's population increased by 58% over that same period, half as fast as Olmsted County. This astounding growth is not primarily due to the virility and fertility of natives like me, but rather to the comparative excellence of Olmsted County. I was hoping someone would get that. Our county shines in comparison to others and draws in people from all over the world. Our county board itself, populated by a majority of commissioners who chose to live here instead of just happened to live here, is a prime example of the attraction of Olmsted County. From our excellent school systems, bountiful job opportunities, beautiful landscapes, productive soils, comparatively safe neighborhoods, growing arts and music scenes, excellent restaurants, interesting parks and well-built roads, to our increasingly interesting and diverse populations, Olmsted County truly shines. However, the brightest lights of Olmsted County are its people. As novelist Anna Sewell once wrote, it is good people who make good places. For the most part, Olmsted County is good people. Olmsted County, the government entity, plays a large and oftentimes invisible role in all of the ways that makes Olmsted County attractive to others. We work with our school districts to ensure our students are prepared as they enter school, safe and healthy while in school, and have as healthy and nourishing of a home life as possible. We work with our business community to establish a vibrant economy to operate in, that safeguards are in place to protect their businesses, their employees, and their customers, and work hard to levy taxes that are fair and not punitive. We work with our landowners to protect the environment for future generations. We value and invest in our parks so families have interesting and enjoyable recreational and educational opportunities available. We provide fair elections so the people's voices are heard. We provide roads that are well planned and well maintained. We assure fair and just public safety through resources to law enforcement and the judiciary, services to victims, and community corrections programs that ensure that those who have served time are able to successfully rejoin their families and contribute positively to society. Most of all, Olmsted County shines in how it treats those who are suffering. We are the literal safety net that is oftentimes the difference between a family languishing and one that is flourishing. Throughout the COVID pandemic, we have served more people and in different ways than before as new needs emerged. As we naturally grow tired from a worldwide pandemic that is now nearly 2 years in duration, I think it is important to remember that we are operating in historic and unnatural times. It is okay to feel weary and frustrated, but it is even more important to remain resolute in helping our families and neighbors to be safe and prosperous. In 1966, Robert Kennedy once misappropriated the quote, "May you live in interesting times," as an ancient Chinese curse. Although his source proved to be wrong, his observation was spot on. 1966 was surely an interesting time in which to live, and unfortunately for many, so is 2022. Future generations will study these times, the struggles we have faced with a deadly worldwide virus, widespread misinformation, polarizing politics, toilet paper shortages, and an uncertain economy, and wonder how we survived. Well, once we do put these interesting times behind us, I am confident Olmsted County will not only have survived these times, but thrive during it. We will have done so because we have done the work to provide the foundations of a vibrant community, building strong family units, promoting public health and safety, and supporting a forward-thinking education system and healthy business community. Lastly, I would be remiss in not recognizing the steady hand the Olmsted County Board of Commissioners has played in making Olmsted County such a strong community. Olmsted County, the government unit, is a financially strong entity that is recognized nationwide for its progressive and efficient operations. Although I am comparatively wet behind the ears, this board is arguably the most experienced board that any county has seen in Minnesota, with a combined 98 years of experience. It is my opinion that this combination of governing experience, combined with diverse backgrounds and perspectives, has helped make Olmsted County a stable ship in a turbulent sea. I look forward to serving as chair of the Olmsted County Board of Commissioners for 2022, and I am cautiously optimistic that, at last, the light we see on the horizon is truly the dawn of a new day and not yet another oncoming COVID train. I look forward to less interesting and more ordinary days ahead. Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks. All right, now to work. We got our consent agenda. A, proclaim January 11th National Day of Human Trafficking Awareness. B, approve December 14th, 2021 as County Board of Meeting, let me start over. Approve December 14th, 2021 County Board meeting minutes. C, approve removal of public reverter conditions on 2 prior tax forfeited parcels. D, adopt the annual equal opportunity statement. E, approve 2022-2023 State of Minnesota Olmsted County Child Support Cooperative Agreement. F, approve drug court donations. G, approve final payment to Doyle Connor Company for work on C21-25. H, approve hazard mitigation planning for Olmsted County. I, approve reappointment of advisory board commissioners. J, approve change order number 3 and final payment for contract CT 2013-1R. K, approve gambling permit for Deer Creek Longspurs National Wild Turkey Federation. L, approve amended 2022 County Commissioner Committee assignments. M, approve memorandum of understanding with legal assistance of Olmsted County for 2022. N, approve memorandum of understanding between the county and the History Center of Olmsted County for 2022. O, 2022 Health, Housing, and Human Services Purchase of Service Agreements. We're running out of letters. Okay.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, I got a motion.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Now, regular agenda. 26,985,000 taxable general obligation crossover refunding bonds series 2022A, refinancing of the general obligation bonds series 2015A. Wilfredo.
Good job. Good morning, Commissioners. Wilfredo Roman Catala, Homestead County Chief Financial Officer. Included in your packet, there's a material supporting our request for the County Board to set the sale of the taxable general obligation crossover refunding bonds series 2022A in the approximate principal amount of $26,985,000 as authorized by Minnesota Statutes Chapters 475, Section 373.40, 375.18, and 165.10. The purpose of refunding in this crossover refunding are the 2026 through 2036 maturities of the County General Obligation Bonds Series 2015A and to pay for the costs associated with issuing these bonds. Here with me, I have George Eilerson from Northland Securities, our Olmsted County Municipal Advisor. And I would like to have George come here today and to provide us some brief overview and also entertain any questions you may have about these specific bond issues. George.
Good morning, Board Chair, members of the board. George Eilerson, Northland Securities. I'll just hit a couple quick highlights to keep your meeting moving along. Just a little, going back in time here a little bit for the 2015 bonds, just to tell you what the purpose was when those were originally issued. They financed the extension of the 55th Street Northwest, the Broadway Bridge construction, and government center improvements. So that was the purpose of those bonds done in 2015. The reason for the refunding, of course, is to try to achieve a debt service savings. The remaining average interest rate on the 2015 bonds is 4%. And what we're hoping to do is cut that in half, roughly. So approximately 2% is what the market is bearing for taxable general obligation bonds with a maturity in 2036. That interest rate reduction would generate a savings of approximately $1.7 million over the remaining term of the bonds, which is approximately $160,000 per year. So today's action, board, is to consider a resolution, as Wilfredo noted, to set a bond sale. So as you know, today we're not selling bonds, but rather calling for a sale. We'll take financing bids on January 31st. And then the next morning, which is your regular board meeting, February 1st, is we would present the results of those, present the bids that were received. So board, that's the action item to consider this morning and a highlight for the bond sale itself.
Mr. Chair, what was the original amount in 2015? I assume we paid some of that down. Right?
Yes, the original bonds when issued were $39,150,000.
Ah, okay.
And so, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. That's all I wanted. Thanks.
And so the purpose of the refunding is not to restructure the debt. The final maturity stays the same in 2036, just to try to achieve that annual debt service savings.
Makes sense. Any more questions?
Always a good move. I move approval.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 6, discussion decision items. The COVID update.
Just a comment quickly, just for the public to realize that said we're saving $116,000 per year between now and 2036 on behalf of the county, our constituents, everybody. I mean, we do this thing fairly regularly. Always impressed with our finance people to come to us with a better deal. Thank you to North Risk Partners. So just to clarify, this is a really good deal for all of us.
Thank you. Denise.
Good morning, Chairman of the Board, Commissioners. Denise Daniels, Associate Director, Olmsted County Public Health. Megan and I are here again this morning, not about Groundhog's Day, it may feel like that,
Seems like
but to give you another update on COVID. So in our normal fashion, Megan will give you an epi surveillance update, and then I will conclude with just some different things that we have swirling right now. Megan?
Happy New Year, Commissioners. Like Denise said, it does feel a little bit like Groundhog Day, but hopefully 2022 will be a little bit better than its older brother and sister of 2020 and 2021. So, like Denise said, I'm just going to give a quick epi update and then turn it back over to Denise to talk about areas where we're focusing in on. So, I wanted to start off with kind of painting a picture of what's to come for not only for the state of Minnesota, but also for Olmsted County. So here are two graphs from yesterday. As you can see with the United States, it literally is going straight up, and that's Omicron. Yesterday, the United States posted over 1 million new cases. That is the highest world tally in the entire pandemic. So we are knowing that it's coming here in Minnesota. We're usually around 2 to 3 weeks behind what we see on the East Coast, like in New York and things like that. In Minnesota, for the last 3 weeks, just like here in Olmsted County, we've experienced a decrease of cases, but we're predicting that to be bouncing up again for this coming week. The other thing is for the last couple of weeks, we've been under 10% positivity rate in Minnesota, and that has increased as of yesterday back up to 10%. All right, so let's kind of dive in a little bit to see what we're looking here for Olmsted County. So on the left is that graph that or visual I like to show from the New York Times. So you can see very much like how we were joking around Groundhog Day, basically in the exact same spot we were in this time at the New Year. On the right, you will see our cases per month, and just to call out that November 2021 was officially our highest month of cases we ever had in Olmsted County. It edged out November 2020 by like 20 or 30 cases. All right. So this is a graph that one of our epidemiologists put together, and I think it does a really nice job of kind of showing we're following another way of showing we're seeing the exact same trend that we saw back in 2021. Here you can, or at the beginning of 2021. So what I have circled is this time a year ago, and you can see we were seeing that bounce down effect, and now we're kind of seeing that again at the end of the graph. The one positive we are seeing is with our hospitalizations have started to trickle down a little bit, which is a good trend for us. So some current trends, we're experiencing extremely high testing volumes. The day before Christmas, so December 23rd, Mayo Clinic processed over 1,300 tests. That is our highest we've ever seen by a day, by a couple of hundred. There's a positive with that if people listen to go get tested before meeting or seeing relatives, but we also know that our testing is starting to get taxed a little bit with the high testing volumes people are seeing. We're also seeing lower hospitalizations, like I mentioned. So the last time I came and talked, we had around between 25 and 27 people in the hospital. That has dropped down to 12 over this past week. So that is a promising sign that again, kind of following what we were predicted to see with Omicron of maybe not as severe illness with that. The other interesting thing that we saw this last week, and I think we'll see this coming week too, is the percentage of our 18 and under. So I think almost every time I've come here and talked since November or September, we've been saying that our 18 and under have made up at least 30% of our cases. This past week, that dropped down to 18%. And we saw a big increase in our 20 to 29. So that's just something we're going to continue to monitor too, and just kind of seeing how this disease is carrying out in our community. So let's talk a little bit about vaccines. So this is where we're at. To be honest with you, we haven't seen a huge difference in our vaccine rates. Again, given the holidays and everything, it's not the best time to catch people to get a shot. We have, I think we were right on the cusp of hitting 80% of our entire population receiving at least one dose the last time we were here. Right now, we're around 65% of those eligible for an additional dose. So that would be your third dose or your booster. And looking at those who are 16 and older who have completed their series. So we continue to see work towards that, which is great. I know too, yesterday the FDA approved 12 to 15-year-olds to receive boosters. And I believe ACIP, which is the CDC review panel, is meeting tomorrow to get that approval. So hopefully we'll start to see boosters in 12 to 15-year-olds in the next week or so as well. Then we're right around 46%. We'll probably jump to 47% today. So we can almost round that up to 50% if we want to be optimistic here for our 5 to 11-year-olds. And I'm sorry to report we have not beat out the county up north yet. We're close. We're getting there. But but we're still miles ahead of a lot of our other counties. Not only with our 5 to 11-year-olds, but we're leading the way in almost every other age group overall. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Denise to kind of talk on some current focus areas. I will mention too, this is more of a lighter update today, just because with the holidays and everything, that throws a wrench a little bit with what we can really digest with the data because of data delays, testing, and all of that. So I'm hoping even by tomorrow or by Thursday, we have a much better picture of what the impact will look like. I will call out too, I believe Mayo Clinic modeling has us around the week of Martin Luther King is really starting to see that peak of Omicron here in our community. So next time we come, I think we'll have a much better understanding of where we are and kind of where hopefully we're going. Commissioner Cascaden?
Ms. Chair, I'm not sure if this question is for you, Ms. Sheridan, or for Ms. Daniels, but I've lost track of what's happening now with contact tracing and notification of people of exposure that may have been exposed. I personally experienced the call this time, and I thought, well, how do I figure out where I might have been exposed and who of my contacts is ill? What's happening with that? How does that work now? Is that a question for you or for Ms. Daniels?
So back in October, so contact tracing has been more at a minimal for a few months now, just from a capacity standpoint. So currently, Olmsted County is not doing our case investigation or contact tracing. We rolled that back up to the state. They have also the state has taken a prioritization approach of reaching out. Well, they did priority of 18 and under, and then 12 and under was priority 1, and then 12 to 18 was priority 2, and then those that were hospitalized. So I'll be honest with you, from a contact investigation, it's hit or miss. What is often happening is a person who tests positive or is being asked to reach out to their close contacts and then based on the guidelines doing the necessary quarantining for that.
Well, what surprised me, I got a notice from the state health department. So I'm
it's kind of there. It's a the best way to say it's random.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is based on number of cases and capacity, right? And so that's where that prioritization comes in. And for a long time, they were trying to make sure a link or a notice got out to every person who was a positive. And then again, based on that priority, whether or not they did the contact tracing, or they asked the individual via the link to do it.
So the best thing to say is we're not doing that here. It's all at the state level, and I think they're trying to still do some randomization just so they can pick up, or taking a select group of people that they can handle and still try to get that information out into the community.
And can you also update us on what's happening with the Vault at-home testing that's available to people?
Yep, Vault is still an option. Just go online, you order the test, and then they proctor it for you. So if you're in situations where you say you need to have somebody who witnesses it or a medical professional, that counts. So it's very reliable.
And the biggest thing with the Vault is you can only have one in your possession at a time. So let's say you were a close contact and you wanted to do the Vault testing versus going and getting a PCR, or for travel or what have you, you can't stockpile them. You have because that's becoming an issue. So you can order as many as you like, but you can only have one in your possession at a time. So once you send it back, then you can order a new one.
I'm not sure that people are generally aware that that option is available to them either. Are we helping get that word out?
We've pushed it with all of our communications around testing. I also believe, and I can double check this after, but that it's on the county website under testing options, and the link is there for it. Yep. You're welcome.
Mr. Chair, I have a question. Sure. I see that the Mayo Clinic and the government have changed some standards in terms of what masks should be made out of. Do we intend to do anything about that?
So we will continue to promote masking, period, right? And so there's some controversy. Any mask is better than no mask. And so cloth mask, right? If I have a cloth mask and you have a cloth mask, even better protection. They're saying double that mask if you're willing, right? Just for added protection. Medical, surgical mask. And then obviously there's N95 and KN95s. And the thing we want to make sure people know about those, obviously they're the gold standard, but it's also important that you be fit tested for your N95. Otherwise, if it's not fit to your face, then it doesn't serve the purpose of that protection. So
my question was, I wasn't exactly sure what a surgical mask is. Is that these disposable
Yep.
kinds?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep. 2-ply, 3-ply, I think is what they say on the box. Yep.
thank you.
You bet. All right. Yeah, I'll just quickly go through this last slide here. Some things we're currently focused on. I think we touched briefly on some of them. We're monitoring our current isolation and quarantine guidelines. You probably heard in the last week that CDC is looking to change those. There's already some controversy around them, so they're not solidified yet, but reducing from that 10-day to the 5-day of quarantine plus 5-day follow-up mask. Now it sounds like they're going to add and a negative test to that. We'll see where that goes. We continue to follow MDH guidelines, and so once CDC finalizes theirs, MDH will as well, and then we will adhere to those as well. So we will continue to keep an eye on that. The one concern I think folks are having around the testing, I mean, it's best practice, right, to have a negative test afterwards. Testing is starting to become an issue. At-home tests are getting harder and harder to find. The accuracy of those is a little bit challenging as well. Most often they want you to have a PCR test to confirm. So we will continue that. So Megan had alluded to, we were reached out to by both Mayo and OMC this week upon return from the holidays. Both are extremely stressed about their testing capacity. They've extended their hours. They've extended their staffing. We reached an all-time high of over 5,000 tests last week. Like Megan said, not entirely a bad thing, right? Because we wanted people to be tested before the holidays, but they're having a hard time keeping up with the demand. And so we have put in a call to the state to see if, because if you remember, we had National Guard and state folks down here at Mayo Civic Center helping with testing at one point. They were at an off-site school site at one point just to see if there's any additional resource there to help with that, should we continue to be challenged around that. So we are partnering with them and putting our heads together, and we have passed that up to the state on behalf of our hospital systems. Homelessness, so individuals who are experiencing homelessness with this potential surge of Omicron, we want to be prepared. And so we've been meeting proactively with our shelters around what is our plan for true isolation if we have too many. So right now, if you recall, we have 105. So we have, and Travis, I think we have up to 4, maybe 5 rooms total, 3 rooms total that we can put individuals in for isolation. And so, as you can imagine, we may go from 2 people in these shelters to 20 overnight. So we're working very proactively. What we had done early on was we were over at Mayo Civic Center. We no longer have that. So we're needing to look at, again, all partners coming together, working on that to figure out what the best next step is for that. And trying to be proactive because it could happen just like this. We don't want to be putting positive people, together because it would spread like wildfire amongst those who are not positive. So again, working through those challenges. We're also looking at our COOP plans, our continuity of operation plans, both within the county and with some of our partners, including those working in these shelters, to make sure that there's backup plans. Internally at the county, we've met and continue to discuss and have asked directors, managers, et cetera, to again dust those off, as we are already seeing an increase in our own sickness within county employees, so that we know what our priority 1, priority 2 services are, et cetera. So we'll continue to help work through those and help facilitate that as well. Vaccine clinics, we're still going strong. We have a big booster clinic this weekend of Pfizer, continuing to push that booster shot for individuals so that they can be fully vaccinated, if you will. And so that one is Pfizer this Saturday. And then working with the schools as well. I think we have 2 or 3 coming up with Rochester Public Schools. The other schools ones we did went great. We will, in a couple weeks here, have those second dose clinics with those as well. And then I think it's just good to know in general, we are seeing an uptick in our ILI or our influenza-like illnesses in the community. So you combine that with COVID, and it does become a bit taxing for our healthcare system. So we will continue to monitor that. Megan's team does have direct access to that surveillance, and so we keep an eye on that. We are at about 13% positivity with influenza, I believe A right now, so that is also circling. So that's all I have for now. We continue to forge ahead and continue our collaborative efforts with partners to do the best we can to stay ahead of this or continue to help with mitigation strategies. So any additional questions or comments?
Just a comment, Mr. Chair, that given everything I read says that the symptoms of this are typically more flu-like or cold-like. So it would seem like, given that we're in flu season, norovirus, seasonal flu, the advice is if you don't feel good to stay home, quarantine guidelines, etc., kind of meaningless. If you don't feel good, stay home until you feel better. Isn't that just kind of in general the message from public health?
Well, we've always told people
I know.
stay home when you don't
Right.
feel well, right? I think the testing is still important, right? Because people will say, I feel well after one day, and they could still be contagious if it is. So that's the piece. I do know that Mayo is testing for both influenza, COVID, strep, and RSV, all at the same time. So we are lucky there. We have strong, but yes, stay home when you're sick. Wash your hands. I mean, all those normal infectious disease things we say.
Any more questions?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Okay, before we do board and committee reports, I'll entertain a motion for a volunteer.
I move that we accept Paula Zolman on the extension committee.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you, Paula. All right, board and committee reports. Stephanie, you want to start?
Nothing.
Okay. Ed, nothing? Greg?
Yes, this is not a report but a comment, but, you know, whenever the calendar changes to a new year, I always feel optimistic because, first of all, we survived a very turbulent year, as your comment said. The county is very stable because of the board members and as the administration. And I think that that's going to carry us well into 2022. So I think that as we'll also see things swirl around us at the national level, that really the action that people most are affected by are local. And locally, we're very stable, so people can take heart in the fact that I think that they also should be optimistic about 2022 and leaving some of the COVID stuff behind us. Thanks.
Sheila?
I don't have a committee report, but I would like to make a couple comments as well. First of all, I really think that our new budget process and the documents that were put together were extremely well done and very easy for us to use. So thanks to the finance folks that work so hard to try and make that all streamlined. I also think having the memorandums of understanding with legal assistance and with History Center makes good sense as well. So I think that's great. Public physical development met this morning, and we were reminded that the storyboards are now going to be online for our update of our land use plan. And a couple of us have had a chance to look at them. I don't know if they were sent to everyone, but kudos to the staff, to Sandy, and to forgot who else had put that together. Sandy Gosley. They really do explain the clues model very, very well. It's a really great document. And then I also thought that the video that the PAC did of significant accomplishments of the last year despite COVID was a really nice way to communicate to the broader public. And I hope that people are accessing that online because it's hard to remember that despite everything that was going on and all the tensions that we've all felt over the past year, some very significant accomplishments were made during the past year, and some innovative practices. Everything from the crisis center to the Kalmar test of ash into so you know we have carried on. Our staff has done a really great job, and our public health folks have been in the first line of all this COVID, but A lot of other good things have happened in the county as well. And I just think we have to take a moment to, as we start the new year, to remember the accomplishments of the past year, and that we have not let all the challenges of 2020 and 2021 deter us from seeking excellence and seeking new ways of providing service to our residents. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of our staff for the great work that they do on behalf of our community. So that's my report.
Thank you. Matt?
No, nothing, Mark.
Okay.
Just to echo briefly what Sheila said, these storyboards that they are incredibly creative, easy to read, easy to understand. I think the public will be very well served by the accomplishment the planning staff has put together. And I could pick on Sheila a little bit, but I won't anymore.
Well, that's a change.
It's a new year.
New Year. New Year,
Evidently.
Ken.
Well, she said she understands it, and this is a milestone.
The time will tell if that's true.
All right, I don't have a report. I want to thank Commissioner Podolsky for leading us so well in 2021. I appreciate it. And before we adjourn, I'm going to continue on with the quotes. So today's quote is from Benjamin Franklin. Be at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let every new year find you a better man.
Here, here.
And a woman. Man. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I've already called it.
Move to adjourn.
Second.